Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabados of Delmar, together with my co-host Mark Ronich of jbiztechvalley.com and Statewide News Service. We have a very special guest with us today, Ms. Joann Dawson. You're the Town of Bethlehem board member and the City Council, so welcome to the Jewish View.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Joann. I'm so happy you're able to join us. This is great. This is great. Tell me, how many years have you been on the town board?
Mark, I just started my 8th year on the Bethlehem Town Board.
So is that fourth term or?
No, we serve 4-year terms.
Okay, so it's the second term.
It's my second elected. Fortunately, I was appointed for my first year back beginning in 2007 when Tim Gordon, who was a town board member, took his place in the assembly. So I was appointed to fill out Tim's
and he was an
term.
Independence Party member.
He was.
And you're an Independence Party member?
I was at that time. That's correct.
And what are you now?
I'm a member of the Democratic Party.
Oh, you switched enrollment.
I did.
Okay,
I did.
Well, I guess that's good for the Democrats and bad for the Independence Party. But what have you seen the challenges be as in the past 8 years of your stint at the town board as a town board? Because now finances are much better.
Finances are very solid right now. We're fortunate. We're in a very good position. But we still can't become complacent and laid back.
Right.
I mean, we still have to pay attention to what's going on. We have some serious long-term needs in the town. And
which are, like, for example?
Such as water and sewer infrastructure, which are very expensive and very basic. It's
falling apart. You mean?
Well, it's old and somewhat out of date, not the most efficient, not able to keep up with some of the newer regulations and standards that are imposed. So we're always in a position of having to upgrade. But that's on top of some of our facilities. Even our newest facilities are 20, 25 years old. So, considering the work that those machines go through constantly, it's a challenge, and it's not fun. It's the kind of thing, where, when somebody comes to your home, you don't say, "Oh, come look at my new hot water heater." It's very exciting, but it's the type of thing that people want to turn on their water, and they want to have nice, clean drinking water, and then when they flush their toilets, they want everything to disappear.
That's
and it's
right.
not the sexy stuff of the town, but...
Let me ask you, why is the town budget, I'm glad, obviously I'm a resident of Bethlehem, and really that is kudos because you have to compare and contrast. It's not like everything is booming around the country, because then you read about Detroit going bankrupt and maybe even in New York State, not every, where it's not booming in every city, so that makes it even a nicer idea that obviously that Bethlehem is doing so well.
Right.
But what would be the reason maybe that Bethlehem is doing well? Either you cut expenses or more revenues coming in.
We've done a lot of both. We've cut our expenses. Every year we're constantly looking to scale back on how can we maintain our services while doing things a little more efficiently. And fortunately, each year we're able to make some significant savings. But you reach a point where you're going to start cutting into the bone, and we aren't in a position to do that. We have a healthy reserve accounts that we know we need to protect. You can't just always keep, going to your savings accounts and drawing down on that just to meet everyday expenses. So we try to be very prudent in making those decisions. We did have a significant tax increase last year, and that was just to get over a hurdle, and now we're in pretty good shape. But honestly, in the next few years is going to be tough.
Well,
we're going to have...
You've had a tax hike, that means property taxes you're talking
2 years ago, yes.
Yeah, but it was property tax.
Correct, correct. But from the point of view of the taxpayer, they're not only responding to, demands of the town of Bethlehem or the school districts or the county or the state or the feds. It continues.
There's a library tax, there's a sewer and water tax, there's a property tax.
There's a highway tax.
There's, many layers of government that the governor is talking about is what's breaking the backs of all the towns and villages and cities around the state, in the sense that there are just too many layers of taxing agencies in every
How would you correct it? How does
you
he
merge
figure it?
everything into one, and then each town or village, municipality takes care of all those taxing divisions, and but that's what the governor's trying to talk about, is that merging all of that. What are there, over 10,000 taxing agencies in New York State?
There are. And a lot of it is historical. It came through, over time and was developed that way. And a lot of it is in existing laws and regulations that could be streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is the individual taxpayer is still going to have to pay for the service. And I don't know that they particularly pay attention to whether the money is going to a local taxing jurisdiction, their sewer tax, their water bills, their highway tax, and on up the line. People have a right to expect that services are provided most efficient way.
So you're not a fan of consolidation of that sort?
Consolidation is a mixed blessing. And the other thing about consolidation is a lot of people think that consolidation means moving up to a higher level of government. It doesn't necessarily. We can have consolidation right here at our town level by perhaps the town taking on some of the services that are provided at the county or the state level that we could do more efficiently. Our highways, for example. When people are driving around town, they don't stop and say, well, this is a state road and this is a town road.
They want the pothole fixed.
They want the pothole fixed. They want the snow plowed.
And that's something the supervisor, John Clarkson, has mentioned quite a few times.
Right.
Is that there's a menagerie of various roads here, whether it's a county or a state or a town road.
Correct.
And you've got to have 3 different types of government plowing.
Right.
In order to get all the roads cleared.
And there have been some studies that show that if it was done all within the town, that we could do it pretty efficiently and at probably some savings to the county or the state at that point. So we're looking at all that. We're constantly looking at ways.
And not just look, but do.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So eventually, hopefully, that'll happen. I wanted to go, since we're talking about infrastructure, I just wanted to go back and say, you said that the infrastructure was like 25 years old or something that you were talking about.
Each of our plants is of a different
right,
era.
But when you talk about Troy, you look at Albany or Troy, they're having water main breaks every other day.
Right.
And they've had more water main breaks this year than in any other year.
Right, and you have potholes flying.
But Bethlehem doesn't seem to have that issue of water main breaks every other day.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
So you must have a newer pipeline, you might say, than for the water than other.
I forget the number of miles of pipeline that we have in town, but some parts are newer than others.
Right.
And you don't want to just respond to the break or the emergency.
No, but you would
want to
think
try to do things.
that these would be lasting another 30 years before you had to even think about replacing the infrastructure when it comes to water.
It depends.
Yeah.
Depends on the abuse that system takes.
Mm-hmm.
Some are functioning very well with an aged system, and other places, are not as.
Just consider what New York City's going through when they get their water from the Catskill Mountains, and it has to go all the way down through several counties.
Sure.
And then there was a lake that sprung up in Orange County, in a town in Orange County, and no one knew where the lake came from. Well, the pipe burst that was going down to
really was
and it's billions of gallons. It's like, and all of a sudden the water just made a lake, and they patched it somehow. But these pipes are not little pipes; these are huge. No. Yeah, you could walk through them.
Right.
So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that and say that I think Bethlehem is doing pretty good in terms of what I've seen compared to other water systems, and So
we have a tremendous system that's kept every day by our staff, and the skills of the Public Works Department are terrific, and they're vigilant.
Now you got a new leader of that department, right? I mean, Greg retired, and now you have...
Well, that would be the Highway Department. Yes, you're talking about Brent Meredith, yes. He just came in as our highway superintendent. So, and he has a huge department and a lot of great expectations and responsibility to fill.
On a social level,
yes,
and not a fiscal level, but a social level, what are your main concerns with the town? I mean, in terms of like senior citizens or activities, quality of life. When I say social issues, I mean quality of life.
Well, now there's a new Chabad Center in the Four
That's
Corners
right.
over here, so that makes everything a little bit better. But all right.
That's good.
All right.
and it all contributes to our quality of life here in Bethlehem. We have a remarkable homogeneous community for all of our different aspects and backgrounds. I mean, Bethlehem is a very nice place to live, and people enjoy that and want to remain so. I think one of the issues probably that we struggle most with, and that we're going to be taking on in the next few months, is the whole issue of how to preserve our open space, because people enjoy the views out their windows. They like looking at cows and grasses and mountains, and yet they may in fact be sitting in the latest development that took over the farmland that was there before, or the open space that was there. And that's going to be a big issue for Bethlehem, because how do you meet all of those competing demands? We have a number of very large land owners that are privately held and want to remain so, and those people are going to decide what they want to do with their land and their futures, and the town is going to struggle with that issue, and it's a big one for us, and I think it affects everybody.
What's your position on Wemple Corners? Talk about farmland becoming more urban and paved over.
Wemple Corners is a huge undertaking, and I think it's exciting that section, that whole area is going to be developed, because Wemple Corners is only 3 of those 4 corners. The other corner also has development plans underway that are not as big, and perhaps haven't been in the limelight as Wemple Corners, but that whole area is going to go through a significant transformation, and we only have one chance. Right,
Wemple and 9W.
It's Wemple and 9W, that whole section there, and once that's done, we're going to be living with it for a long time. So we're being extremely careful in analyzing what the developer is proposing, and want to be sure that it's right for Bethlehem.
Do you think that it should undergo a new look, so to speak?
I think it's inevitable that it becomes developed, and I don't think some of the things on those corners right now aren't particularly desirable. And when you look around, we have some dilapidated buildings and some sections that could be better. But what it should look like, I couldn't tell you right now, Mark. But we want to try to be sure that we do things smart and in a way that's going to be tolerable. One of the biggest issues is the traffic, and what is development of that part of 9W going to do to the traffic in town? We were talking about earlier. I mean, we have some significant traffic issues, and 9W is not a town road. So there we go again with what level, who gets to decide when is that going to be expanded, how will it be expanded,
upgraded,
right,
made,
right, to allow for development. We want development in Bethlehem. We think it's good for our economic well-being, but we're not going to give away the store.
What about the Vista? Because I know that's a big issue. I mean, Vista Technology, and you have a supermarket there, and some doctor's offices
and restaurants.
Yeah, but they're planning bigger things for that area, aren't they?
We always have planned for
Yes.
bigger things. You know, Vista was first designed as a technology park, and the goal was that because of its location there, you know, and easy access, that it was going to be a natural area for technology. We're so close to the College of Nanosciences and all of that that's even happening, you know, along I-90 there. There's a couple other things that have been working against us, which aren't in our control.
Like the
One
economy?
certainly was the economy, and the second thing now, what's more recently, is what kind of incentives are going to be put forth for businesses to go
Everyone wants
elsewhere.
An incentive?
Everybody wants an incentive now, so everybody's looking at the best bet. But Vista is happening. It's filling in. It might not be the technology park that it was originally
Should it be
envisioned
renamed?
as.
Should it be renamed? Take the word technology out and put something else in?
Honestly, you know how names kind of tend to morph over time. People
Right.
refer to it as Vista, and that could fill a number of needs.
That's right.
Yeah.
But now it's going to go out to fill out to Schoolhouse Road, right, where that rotary is, isn't it? Vista going to...
It doesn't go that
no?
far
because that's
north.
because that would be a natural connection with SUNY, because you can go right up Schoolhouse Road right to SUNY.
We think it's a
But
perfect
but
location.
if it's not going to go that far then north, then I don't know.
Well, it's only, I think we're only talking about a mile
Yeah.
difference there. But you still have that easy access right down 85, and we think it's in a good location. But if the priorities are going to be to fill the old Harriman campus, it's going to be tough for us to compete. On the other hand, we're close to that as well. So
Well,
I think private companies are going to look at Vista.
The governor
with
announced merging the Wadsworth
laboratories, yes.
and make one big, huge laboratory on the Harriman campus. So, you know, if that goes through, that'll be several years down the road. But
Sure.
still, you know, the Wadsworth campus on 155 in Guilderland will be shut down, and there'll be other. I don't know
Right.
if there's a Wadsworth lab in Bethlehem, but you know.
There's not one in Bethlehem, but there's a couple over on New Scotland, you know, in the Albany Med area,
Yep.
and that's probably our newest lab section. And then the
And
facilities down in the Empire State Plaza are
Well, that'll
aging
be
out.
moved. Yeah, right.
So we'll
They're
see.
Obsolete.
We'll see. It's a proposal. We'll see what develops. But I think one of the things we have to do at the town level is to remain aware of these changes and to kind of stay on our toes and be flexible and respond appropriately. If
Look.
people want to come to Bethlehem, we're happy.
One of the things that I always ask guests is to get a personal connection with the audience, with our viewers. So tell us a little about your background personally, where you grew up and how you got to where you are here, and what do you do for a living and all that.
Well, that's a lot. Actually, I grew up in Long Island,
What
in
town?
a very small town, a village of Northport, which was a town where my mother was born, and which had a real main street, and where everybody knew everybody, and to this day, I still have a lot of family there and a strong connection with there. But I suppose that is what formed my expectations of where I wanted to live, and where Charlie and I wanted to raise a family, and that's really what brought us to Bethlehem. When we moved to the Albany area, in the mid-'70s to go to grad school, we thought it was just a step along the way in our educational programs, but we found that this area is a wonderful place to live and raise a family.
What was your grad school education in?
I have a master's from the College of St. Rose in Health Services Administration. I have a bachelor's from the School of Nursing at SUNY Binghamton. So I have a strong health background. Worked for the New York State Department of Health for 36 years up till my retirement this past summer.
Wow. Well,
And,
mazel tov. Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you. Appreciate
and
that.
I didn't think, what, you start when you were 10 years old? Or?
Well, you know, I always say
So
I'm
young.
29, so
Again.
we're both 29. Already. We could
Wow.
both be 29.
Right.
Okay. What and you're married to the county legislator, Charles Dawson?
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. 40 years.
So you're a, but you're.
I wasn't 10.
I meant in terms of your political family. I mean, you just
Yes.
thrive on the politics and getting out there and getting signatures during June for petition time.
Well, it's a lot of work. Some people don't realize, I think, what goes into deciding you're going to run
Yeah.
for town board or the county legislature. There is a lot of work involved. But one of the most rewarding parts of campaigning is the opportunity to go door and door to talk to people. It's remarkable how many people really want to talk to you, and you could spend 20 minutes at each household in the evening.
Yeah, I know.
Fortunately, it's a rare occurrence where somebody slams the door and says, "Go away, I don't want any." But people like to talk to you, and they want to find out why you even want to do this. And one of the things we were talking about earlier is that a lot of people really aren't aware of their local government, or when I've had people say to me, town board, why should I care about town board? What do you people do? And I said, well, your highways, your police, your town park. They're like, oh, you mean every day? And it's true.
So they could tune in on TV, public access, to watch the board meetings.
Which is great, yes.
And
yes.
that's why you have fewer people in the audience, because more people are watching it on TV at home.
We don't have fewer people. It's
No.
interesting. The people
Okay.
who have always attended our meetings in person
Are
still like
attending.
to come, because the one thing about watching on TV is you don't have the chance
To
to make public comment and to ask questions. But
Make private comment.
I am always surprised at how many people tell me they do watch the meetings.
Yeah.
And I think that's terrific. I think it's been a real asset
Mm-hmm.
to letting people get involved. People are busy. It's dinner time. The kids are just home. You've got homework. You're trying to juggle 2 or 3 different things. The last thing on your list is to go to a town board meeting
right.
every other Wednesday. But if you can watch it on TV or watch it later at your own convenience, I think it's a wonderful thing, and I hope that more people are getting involved. They want to know what's happening in their town, and maybe that's one of the reasons really why I got involved with the town board, is because I like to know what's going on. I want to be involved in the behind the scenes. How do we get to some of the decisions that we make? And
Well, you must have some wonderful discussions with your husband, because he, you have to run the entire town.
Right.
As a town, he only has a certain section as county legislator.
Right.
So-
He has a small section of town, but much bigger issues at the county level.
Nursing
So
home.
fortunately, we're not struggling with some of those countywide issues.
Being that the nursing home is such a big issue, does he ask what your opinion is because of your background, your health background?
We talk.
Yeah.
We talk.
You care to share anything? or
I don't
not
think
right
we
now?
want to get into county
Okay.
issues right
Oh,
now. I'll let
okay.
you have that separate interview.
Okay, all right. I just thought I'd ask because of that, your background. Do you think that, how do you come down on legalization of marijuana?
That's not a,
That's a health issue.
but that's a Bethlehem
It's an
issue already.
It's a,
One of the
drugs
things
are always a big thing.
one of the things that we've had at the town level is when people want to bring issues such as that, or some of the other recent statewide initiatives to us at the town level. And I really think our job is to focus on things that we have responsibility for and the authority over. And I've never been a supporter of us taking political positions for the point of just
in the Albany
grandstanding.
Common Council, they'll take positions on things that don't have anything, but they'll pass it quickly.
Right.
But they'll debate
Right.
it for 3 months in committee.
I
and
try
then
to
they
keep
bring it,
us
so-
focused on the business and the work that we have at hand.
Really?
We have a job to do, and I think if we
Well,
carry that out, we're doing what the
do we
the
have
town residents
do we have a
voted
large,
us to do.
Do we have a large problem with drugs? Because I interviewed the county sheriff. I interviewed Lou Corsi. and heroin and marijuana. Marijuana is a gateway drug. Heroin is very inexpensive now. It's pervasive. Is that a problem in the town?
We're not shielded from those problems that every town is facing. We have other drug issues as well. Even prescription drugs is a huge area of abuse, not only locally but nationally. So those are things that we do have to stay tuned into. So for example, when our town offers an opportunity for people to return unused prescription drug pills, that's something that we want to make available to our residents. That's a way that we can help to alleviate a huge source of prescription drug abuse. And it's here. It's just as it is everywhere else. We're not immune to those social issues. And
you wish you were, though.
Of course we do, but we can't pretend that we are.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
What are you hearing when you go door to door from people besides, I want my taxes lowered, I want roads paved? In Albany we always know that it's an election year because the roads are being paved and the potholes are being filled in and the streets are being shoveled.
And ours are taken care of every day, which is a wonderful thing.
But in Albany we know when they're diligent about it, that means that it's an election year. But otherwise, it's he who puts it there takes it away.
Last week I was driving. I think it was last Wednesday when we kind of had that surprise snowstorm in the middle of the day, and I was driving back from Stuyvesant Plaza, and I was very happy when I crossed into town of Bethlehem lines because what a difference!
It was. It really is. You can really see a difference.
Yes.
And I'm proud of that. That's terrific.
Absolutely.
But what do the people tell you besides those major overarching issues?
Well, everybody does talk about taxes, and when you talk to people door to door, a lot of times they're not separating, the town taxes from the school taxes or from county,
water,
state, or up.
Library,
a tax is a tax, and they have to pay it regardless of who they're making the check out to. So there's something that we have to pay attention to. But I also know that people in Bethlehem moved here for a reason, and the reason was the quality of life, the level of services that they enjoy here, the opportunities that they have both here at the library, at the schools, at the parks, in addition to the highways and just the proximity to work. A lot of people still commute pretty far in this region, and it's always a surprise to me. As I said, I grew up on Long Island where commuting was more of a fact of life. Up here, you don't have to, and if we can be 5 miles from downtown Albany, where so many people do work, it makes Bethlehem an even more valued and prized community. But that's why our people are here, and probably the biggest issue we hear about is development, and people are concerned that
too much development, that would be the issue.
Too much development, too much traffic, too much pressure on our local neighborhoods. Yeah.
Okay. Lesson.
All right. Joann, you're doing good work because the bottom line is the Bethlehem is running well, and like you say, it just doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from our elected officials to lead the city in the proper way. So we'll continue with good health and leading our city into bigger and better things.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming, Joann.
Thank you, Mark.